Hi, Snooze. Need something to brighten the mood? We got you. Today we got some pretty funny stories that can give you some good laughs. The genre is called TIFU, meaning Today I Effed Up. Without further ado, let's get to it. Story 1 is from users small, medium, and large.
TIFU, by using the bathroom at my date's house. I think we all know where this was going. I've been talking to this guy for about a month, so everything is very new, and we are still getting to know one another. I also recently underwent a huge storm in my area, so I couldn't actually use my bathroom very frequently for the past 3 days. He invited me over as he got power back before I did, and we haven't seen each other in about 2 weeks. Between the storm, life, and travels, I go over, everything is fine, we get dinner and have a good time, and then we start to kind of reel it in for bed. I go to the bathroom to shower and prep, if you will, for potential nighttime festivities, and prep I did, for evidently a different type of festivities. See, those 3 days really smacked me all of a sudden, and there was no turning back. I figure, hey, first time for everything, a girl's gotta go and a girl's gotta go. I mustered the courage to overcome my anxiety about using the toilet outside of my home. Mission accomplished. Flush that bastard down? Nope. Okay, well, sometimes you need a twofer, right? Maybe he didn't hear that first flush anyway. The toilet gurgles at me in a laughably cruel way. No dice. Okay, not the end of the world. Surely this guy has a plunger. Nope. Not on the floor, not in the cabinet. I ran out to the kitchen. Maybe he's got one of those weird kitchen plungers. Nope. He's in the shower in the other bathroom. I wait for him sheepishly to finish up. It's been a minute, though. Maybe, just maybe, the bathroom gods will have mercy on me. The third flush will really just send my demon to its jail in hell. Third flush. The toilet now roars at me as it bubbles up way too quickly and begins to overflow everywhere and flood the bathroom. Mercifully, just clean water, as the monster was stuck down in the belly of the beast. My shower towel is a casualty in the battle. I try and fail to catch the waterfall of toilet water with it. It's soaked through, and now there is standing water around the basin. I am panicking, holding back tears as I realize I now have to directly ask this man for a plunger and somehow clean his bathroom, which I have successfully demolished. He finishes showering. Instead of approaching the situation with any sense of normalcy, I panic and say, "Hey, just lay down. I'm gonna grab something from your master bathroom that I think I need." He does so. He's so sweet. No plunger. My life is flashing before my eyes. I now finally cave. "Hey, do you have a plunger?"
No.
The tears are involuntary as I cry at him, begging him not to help me. I mop and clean his entire bathroom while forcing him to stay in his bedroom. The bathroom is clean. The toilet has drained enough to seem as though nothing has happened. I cannot calm down. He knows something has happened, I told him. I flooded it, but not how. I'm sure he can piece it together. There are no nighttime festivities. I am too mortified to even look him in the eyes. The morning comes. My dignity is crushed, and it is palpable. We part ways. He is still kind as ever and trying to laugh the situation off. I got home. I got a text.
I am headed to the hardware store to get a plunger after flooding the bathroom again. Who knew I needed one?
Please, please, just kill me now. TLDR, I killed my date's bathroom with a monster shit and regrettably lived to tell the tale.
Here's some notable comments. Blick said,
It's fine. It will all be fine. Sounds like he took it well. Maybe after the storms, the plumbing wasn't working at 100%. Your only mistake here was the third flush. His was not owning a plunger. Apologize and never speak of it again.
Crazy David said,
When I first met my now wife, we went to dinner and both enjoyed the salad bar at a local chain restaurant. Our mistake was that we both enjoyed the yogurt on the salad bar, which apparently was not as good as we thought. We both spent the night secretly sneaking into the bathroom while we shat our brains out and acted like nothing happened. It wasn't until 2 days later that I eventually spoke up and said there was something on that salad bar that my stomach didn't agree with. 15 years later, anniversary was yesterday, we're in Costa Rica, and we both still off and won't touch yogurt on a salad bar. Stories like this just become part of a relationship. Don't fear it.
Audney out said,
You've asserted dominance. He is now sworn to you. No, seriously. As someone with ulcerative colitis who has dealt with several mortifying moments involving poop, don't let it affect the relationship. He went and got a plunger because he realized he needed one. Not to embarrass you, he was probably trying to make you laugh and save any future embarrassment for others and himself. Use it as a threat. Don't make me drop a god-level log in your toilet and flood this house.
Do you have a plunger at home? If not, buy it before you need it. All right, let's go to the second one. This story is from user remote platypus 9928.
TIFU, and got a final written warning. So, a month ago, a friend at work told me a story about how someone had called her a "see you next Tuesday." I liked the phrase and just started saying it all the time. I used it kind of like you would use "bye, Felicia." I actually thought I was telling people that I would see them later, or like they were being annoying and wanted them to go away. A couple of weeks of saying that phrase later, I was told by my boss that I had said something very vulgar and that I would be getting a write-up soon when an HR member was available. I was astonished. I am very Southern, and sometimes I just let things slip casually. This week I learned that "see you next Tuesday" was actually code for calling someone a C word, a word I never use. It's very disrespectful. Skip to today, and I am sitting in the meeting with my boss and HR. I found out that I said this vulgar word in the same conversation that my employee also got written up for calling someone a fragile bitch. They explained to me how we cannot have this kind of language in the warehouse, and that in conversation words can be chosen poorly, and this was just a bad decision to use the word. I agreed that yes, whatever I said must have been bad. The entire time I just cannot remember what I would have said that would garnish a final warning, but I agreed to sign the paper and understood that if I had said something vulgar, then yay, I should be written up. In the conversation surrounding this write-up, they would not repeat what I had said, because it was such a derogatory word to women and was against our policy to use in the warehouse. On the drive home from work, I realized that I had called my young female employee a "see you next Tuesday," and someone thought I had called her a C word, so they reported me. That made me also realize that I have been saying "delicate swan." I texted my friend and asked her what "delicate swan" meant. She said that was code for fragile bitch. All I could say was shit. TLDRE. I called my employee a "see you next Tuesday," thinking it was the same as "see you later." I got wrote up a couple weeks later for calling them a C word. "See you next Tuesday."
Here's some notable comments. Habitual Errant said, "Never sign an admission of guilt when you don't know what you're being accused of." A Klaus Jr. said,
Is your name Michael, and do you work at a failing paper company in Scranton?
J. Jill F. said,
I had a coworker, third grade teacher, that during parent-teacher conferences told several parents that their children were doing their work half-fast. She had no idea that the phrase was half-assed. Didn't keep her out of trouble either. Sorry, OP.
Got any funny phrases like that? Let us know in the comments. On to the next. This one is from user Hustler.
TIFU, by developing the worst fucking involuntary reflex a person can wish for. Me and my buddies often joke around about serious subjects to alleviate the tension. Two well-known phrases we use in our buddy group are "sit down" and "couldn't be me." To give you an idea, person A would go, "Oh, frick, I forgot to pay my electric bill and now it's stacked up for 3 months." Person B would respond, "Sit down," as in, life owned you and you can't do shit about it. The unexpectedness of it, and usually the amount of context that this can apply to, makes it a pretty funny joke from time to time. Another example is person B says, "Man, my Tesla stock just went down by 25%. Person A, "Damn. Couldn't be me." You get the gist of it. I'm particularly pretty good at choosing the right situations for these kinds of jokes since they have a time and place. I used to pride myself on this awareness until today. There I was, zoning out at a family social when my uncle talked about how he's so happy about how his kid got out of jail, and I mindlessly responded, "Couldn't be me." The silence was loud. I wished I could rewind time, but I couldn't. The whole family's eyes were staring daggers at me, and there was no escape for what felt like eons. I don't know why I said it. I didn't even process the conversation that was being had at the moment, but I just said it anyway, and now I'm the family's 6-foot life-sized sentient dildo. TLDR. Said something inappropriate at a family meeting and now I'm embarrassed. Edit. Y'all are ruthless.
Here's some of the ruthless comments. Appa2 said, "Well, couldn't be me." Stark007 said,
Sit down.
Jiggywatt said, and
I used to respond to, "How's it going?" with, "Well, I ain't dead yet." Then I went to a funeral. My wife and I use name of your sex tape. It's gotten us both into trouble more than once.
93rd Misfit said,
Had a similar thing happen to me. In high school, my buddies and I would often say, yes, you did, or yes, you are. Example, friend says, I effed that up. I'd respond, yes, you did, with a bit of a punchy tone. Fast forward sometime in conditioning. We're in music class, and the instructor starts us off on the wrong section of music. She apologizes and says, I messed up, to which I unconsciously respond, yes, you did. Everyone but the teacher shot daggers at me. Oops.
Kidisio083 said,
My mother-in-law was actually my trainee at work for a little while when me and my partner first started dating. I have teen daughters, and my ex-husband was always try to keep up with meme culture and slang. One day I'm all pissed off at my BF, and his mom is walking behind me and she asked, Are you upset? And without missing a beat, I mumbled back, I might be. Then we locked eyes, and both of us just froze. I had no idea what to say after that LMAO.
Red Panda 132053 said,
My sister was at a summer camp and they had a small group session where people talked about things they were struggling with. One kid was crying, talking about how his mom had cancer, and some other kid goes, whump whump.
Anyone laughing like a weirdo while staring at the screen? Couldn't be me. All right, this next story is from user Ochika Ape.
TIFU, when I bit someone who put their arm around my neck. So I was packing up my stuff because I had to move it all from where it was stored. It was all packed into a barn across a rather large field, so I had a tractor that I was using to move it all. As I was finishing packing it all up to drive across the large field, I noticed that some people started to show up. I have no idea what they were there for, but I got bad vibes and just generally wanted to avoid them. I attempted to drive the tractor kind of quickly, hoping to not be noticed. But of course, some guy comes running up and just immediately starts digging through my stuff. I crawl my way down the tractor and ask him what the F he's doing. He immediately gets confrontational, and I start to yell while grabbing my stuff and putting it back on the tractor. He comes up behind me and wraps his arm around my neck, which really freaks me out, and of course I fight back and bite down on his arm. All of a sudden, he starts yelling and pulling away, and I'm breathing deep, staring into blackness. Then I hear my husband yelling, "What the frick?" And I pull my sleep mask off my face and realize what had actually happened. I was having a very vivid dream while tucked in against my husband's chest with his arm around me. And in my sleep, I had bit him. On the nipple. Pretty hard. He was upset, obviously, and I was upset because of my dream, and we were both groggy and cranky from getting woken up so suddenly. TLDR. I had a bad dream and bit my husband in my sleep.
Here's some notable comments. Nathan Stubblefield said,
I was riding on a roller coaster at the beginning of the season, and there were canvas covers over the seats. When it started moving, I learned that there were rats living under the canvas, and they started making noise. I was frightened and started punching them. My wife yelled, "Stop that!" and I woke up. I had been dreaming, and she had started snoring loudly. Normally, I would just have dreamed it was a motorcycle and stayed asleep. She got a CPAP machine. Now she exhales through her mouth. Pop, 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 pop. And I dream it's a machine gun.
Kitchen Rabbit 3006 said,
It's a long time ago now, but I was goalie in a hockey match. The other team had a penalty. If I saved the penalty shot, we won. If I let the shot in, they won. I poised myself, and as the ball came towards me, I pulled back my leg and kicked it as hard as I could. I saved the match. We won. Unfortunately, the celebrations were marred with my husband and I, waking up to him screaming in agony as I kicked his kneecap savagely. Yup, his kneecap was the ball coming towards me. He was limping for a couple of weeks.
Negative Fix 900 said,
Ha 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 ha. My husband once bit the back of my head while he was sleeping. Spooning. Couldn't pull his arm away in his dream because it was under my neck and pillow, so he bit at whatever he thought was holding it down. Luckily not hard. Scared the crap out of me, though.
Anyone got funny, vivid dreams like that? Tell us in the comments. Next up is a story from user That Damn White Guy.
TIFU by sleeping while wearing earbuds. After a double shift at work left me with a bad migraine, I took some Excedrin before laying down on the couch and put on a long, boring documentary to help me fall asleep. Since I got back to my apartment late around 2 a.m., I put my earbuds in so as to not disturb my neighbors. About an hour later, in a half-dream state, I thought I was choking on a pill and reflexively swallowed it. As soon as I did, my eyes shot open as I realized I couldn't have swallowed a pill. My right earbud was on my chest, but my left earbud was nowhere to be found. I was still groggy, but I turned on my flashlight and started looking around the couch. 10 minutes of searching later and still nothing. Fearing the worst, I tried to make myself throw up, but all I got was bad heartburn. So I did what any normal person would do. I drank a bunch of coffee and contemplated the life choices that led me to this point while waiting for urgent care to open. A few hours and incredulous doctors. Later, I have some beautiful x-rays of my abdomen and a referral to the ER in case the battery in the earbud is dissolved in my stomach acid. Unfortunately, they gave me my x-rays on a CD, so I'll have to find a computer with a CD player before I can show off my stupidity. If anyone has any laxatives they've been meaning to try, let me know and I'll be happy to report back. TLDR, I reflexively swallowed my earbud while asleep, and now I get to spend my holiday weekend trying laxatives and searching for a CD player. Edit. The earbud has been expelled. My doctor was quite impressed by the efficiency of my bowels.
Here's some notable comments. Two Headwolf said,
Play some music and get someone to listen to your stomach.
the OP replied,
I could swear I could still hear the dry commentary on the Roman Empire for a few minutes when I was hunched over, but the battery died pretty quickly and I was still half asleep.
Chemical Flan 5700 said,
As far as laxatives go, there's a TikTok of some lady who drank some green box of Chinese tea and ended up pooping herself all over Walmart. Maybe look for that. In all seriousness, though, best of luck.
anyone got similar experience? Let us know how you got it out and what was playing inside you. Up next, we have a story from user Peanut Gallery 12345. TIFU, I accidentally caused a frenzy at a gas station after Hurricane Milton. Yesterday, October 10th, 2024, around 3 p.m., I had just finished cleaning up my property and getting my generator hooked up after the hurricane. I had planned on flying my drone to get a good view of the damage around my neighborhood. I tried to open my DJI app, but the app needed to update. I let the update begin, but my cell signal was really weak and was taking forever to update. I decided to get in my truck and look for a stronger signal. I pulled into a Circle K gas station down the street where the signal was strong. It was completely closed, no vehicles on the property. The 20-plus pump guns were zip-tied and the store was empty. I decided to get out of the sun and pull under the awnings where the pumps were. I pulled almost in the middle of the pumps as to not seem like Ellum pumping gas. As I sat, I began the update and got on the net. Within the first few minutes, a couple vehicles pulled up. I didn't bother saying anything, as they would quickly find out the place was closed. To my amazement, as others driving saw a couple vehicles at the pumps, they all just started driving in. Before I knew it, there were city vehicles, landscape companies, and people of all sorts coming to get gas. There were lines of people waiting at each pump, people pulling up to go into the store. At the peak, there had to have been 50 to 60 vehicles on the property. It was way beyond my control. Everyone was confused. It was insane. I initially felt bad, as gas is hard to come by, but at the same time, I didn't feel bad because I did not intentionally do it to be an asshole. After 45 minutes, my update was complete and Elle left. I drove past a couple hours later and the gas station was open and serving customers. TLDR. A day after Hurricane Milton, I pulled into an empty closed gas station for better reception, unknowingly causing a mass amount of people to enter the property looking for gas. I sat and watched as a confusing mass of people didn't understand what was happening. Here's some notable comments. Old Skull said,
A trendsetter and an influencer. Bravo, fellow human.
OP replied, Thank you, Earthling. Prize Fox 9163 said,
I drove past a couple hours later, and the gas station was open and serving customers. Where others saw confusion, they saw an opportunity.
I'm an 8 said,
Sounds like that trick where you start looking up at the sky in a busy crowd. Then you point to something that's not really there, and you'll soon have a small crowd of people all stopping what they are doing and squinting to try all see what the thing you're looking at is. Herd mentality. Now let's all go buy Charmin for no reason.
Got funny hurting story? Share your story, oh influencer. Next story is a bit cuckoo, so giddy up. It's from user MattSturg10.
TIFU by prepping for my Zoom interview. Today I, 26M, was prepping for a Zoom interview at my parents' home while they're away on a long vacation. I've been staying here to escape from the city I live in for a bit and have the house to myself. I get pretty bad interview anxiety, and hyping myself up has become a routine before my calls to help release the anxiety. About 15 minutes before the call, I start making extremely loud monkey noises, screams, and laughing like a deranged maniacal version of Mickey Mouse. At the height of my tweaking, I hear, "Are you okay?" come from upstairs. Little did I know, my mom's friend came over to help paint a bathroom, let herself in, and heard me tweaking balls for at least a minute. I was so embarrassed, all I could say was, "Yeah, I'm fine, just prepping for my job interview." After my call, we chatted like normal and she didn't bring it up, but very few people have heard that tweaker side of me. My mom has a big friend group, and this friend in particular likes to gossip. I'm actually doomed, but at least it helped with my pre-interview anxiety. TLDR. Prepped for my job interview today by acting like a maniac, thinking I was alone at my parents' house, but my mom's friend showed up out of nowhere and heard everything.
Here's some notable comments, where DeTaco said,
I'm trying to join the dots on how laughing like a deranged Mickey Mouse makes you feel less anxious. LMAO.
Arafir replied,
It's just exerting energy. I tend to physically exhaust myself before doing something nerve-wracking or scary. If you can barely get up after doing push-ups suddenly, you don't have as much energy to be worried.
Githurazi replied,
So it's like spanking the monkey before a date?
OP replied,
Exactly this.
KB Hole N1 said,
I'm dying at the thought of her hearing these deranged screeching noises, calling down to check on you, and the explanation she gets is that you're prepping for a job interview. She's probably thinking, what the kind of job are you applying for?
what do you do to tone down when you're nervous? Let us know your Mickey Mouse in the comments. Last one, we got story from user Gaggy Boots.
TIFU by accidentally catcalling a teenager. For context, my boyfriend, 26M, and I, 24F, came back from a trip to Berlin last night and stayed at his brother's flat for convenience, because we both live pretty far from the airport, and commuting there at 12 a.m. would have been tough. My boyfriend used to live in that flat some years ago while he was at university, so we've both spent a lot of time there. The flat is on the second floor with a view of a neighborhood courtyard where a community of stray cats lives. Whenever we used to cook, we would always look out the kitchen window to watch the cats. Cut to midday today. I was making pasta for lunch when my boyfriend looked out the window. The blinds were halfway up, so while I, being 5'1", could see a teenage girl in a school uniform walking through the courtyard, my 6'2" boyfriend couldn't. He did, however, spot an old calico cat sitting right below our window that he recognized. As the girl approached her door, my boyfriend started going pss, 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 pss at the cat. The girl started walking faster and turned her back to us when she reached her door, but my boyfriend kept going. I tried to make it clear that we were talking about the stray cat outside, but I've completely lost my voice from a cold I caught on the trip. So, from her perspective, what she probably heard was what sounded like a man and a chain-smoking, whispering perv going pss, 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 pss at her, saying things like, "Wow, she's still here. She's so beautiful, probably 13 or 14 now." I was mortified. I backed away from the window and explained to my boyfriend that the girl probably thought we were talking to her. He said he only noticed her when she got to the door. I went back to the window, hoping to somehow make it clear we were talking about the cat, but my boyfriend didn't get the hint, and I couldn't speak louder than a whisper, let alone yell out to clarify things to the girl, which would have been awkward anyway. We backed away again, and I explained the whole situation to my boyfriend. How she sped up, turned her back, and how all she could see from the outside was a dark window and not us. He seemed pretty unconcerned about the fact that we had, quite literally, catcalled a teenager. I feel so embarrassed and guilty because I know what it feels like for this kind of thing to happen. He later apologized to me, but I told him I'm not the one who needs the apology. My boyfriend really is a sweetheart. He's loving and respectful, but a bit unaware sometimes. I don't think he gets how scary it is sometimes to exist as a woman. I just wish I would have reacted faster to avoid the situation. I don't think there's anything we can do now that wouldn't make the situation even more awkward, but I think I'm going to feel secondhand embarrassment from this forever. TLDR. My boyfriend and I accidentally catcalled a girl while trying to pss at a stray cat.
Dope as FCK said,
I'm feeling third-hand embarrassment from this. However, the mention of, she must be 13 or 14 by now, oof.
Zalabutu replied,
Yeah, this made it entirely worse. Pss is pretty standard for calling an actual cat. I hung my head a little for OP after reading that sentence.
Economy Falcon 11 has 70 replied,
I died laughing TBH was the best part. Lolol, that poor girl, feeling all creeped out and shit, and it was all for a calico cat, not her.
Deleted by author replied,
TBF. They were indeed catcalling.
All right, snooze, that's it for today. Like and subscribe for more. Comments are open. Hope you had a good laugh. Anyone shed a tear? Couldn't be me.